What happened to Coco Gauff in the Italian Open final was more than just another loss. It was one of those nights where the scoreboard only told half the story, and the emotions told the rest. In front of a packed crowd in Rome, the defending French Open champion looked like she was battling not just her opponent, but something much deeper inside herself. And by the end of the match, fans were left asking the same question. Was this a warning sign before Paris, or the exact kind of heartbreak that could fuel another major title run? From the very first games, there was a strange tension around Gauff. She did not look physically injured, and she was moving well enough, but every point seemed to carry extra weight. Her opponent, Elina Svitolina, brought her usual relentless consistency, but it was Gauff's own reactions that stole attention. She was talking to herself between points, staring down at her racket, and showing flashes of frustration that had clearly been building over the course of the entire tournament. It was not just one bad game. It felt like the pressure of the whole clay season was crashing down in one final. The turning point came at the end of the opening set, and it was a moment that instantly spread across tennis social media. Gauff double faulted at the worst possible time, handing the set away after what had been a tightly fought battle. But what happened next shocked even longtime fans. In a split-second burst of anger, she struck her own head with the racket, then smashed it to the court, and then tossed it away in frustration. It was not just a player upset about losing a set. It looked like a player overwhelmed by everything that led to that moment. That image said a lot. This was not the first time Gauff had shown visible frustration in Rome. Earlier in the tournament, she had another incident where she hit herself with the racket after a tense exchange in a previous round. When it happens once, fans call it a bad moment. When it happens twice in the same tournament, it starts to look like a sign of how much pressure she has been carrying. Her season has been full of deep runs without trophies, strong performances that somehow stopped just short, and expectations that have only grown since lifting the French Open title last year. After dropping the first set, Gauff took a toilet break. That short walk off court felt like more than a standard reset. It looked like she needed to escape the noise, the crowd, the missed opportunities, and maybe even her own thoughts. When she returned, she fought hard to force the match deeper. But there was still something unsettled in her body language. She had moments of brilliance, but every error brought another visible reaction. It was almost like she was trying to convince herself to stay composed and could not quite hold that line. Meanwhile, Svitolina looked completely locked in. At 31, she played with the calm of someone who has seen every type of pressure and knows exactly how to survive it. She did not get drawn into Gauff's emotional swings. She stayed patient, absorbed the power, and waited for the mistakes to come. That is what made the contrast so dramatic. One player was visibly unraveling, while the other looked colder and stronger with every game. The final set made that difference impossible to ignore. Svitolina took control early and never let it go. Gauff still fought until the last point, and to her credit, she refused to quit. Even down 2-5, she pushed Svitolina's serve through multiple deuces and created one last break chance that briefly gave the crowd hope. But the comeback never arrived. Svitolina closed the door, captured one of the biggest titles of her career, and left Gauff standing there with another painful runner-up trophy. What makes this result so fascinating is the timing. Gauff came into Rome desperately searching for her first title of 2026. She had shown flashes of elite form but kept falling just short. A third-round exit at the Australian Open, several close losses, and a season full of almost moments had created this strange narrative around her. She was still winning plenty of matches, but not the ones that define a champion's season. So reaching the Rome final looked like a breakthrough. Losing it in such an emotional way changed the conversation again. There is also an eerie parallel to last year. Gauff reached the Rome final then too, and she lost. A week later, she went to Paris and won the French Open. That memory has to matter now. Athletes often search for patterns when confidence is fragile, and this is the kind of pattern she may cling to. A heartbreaking Rome loss followed by Roland Garros glory? It happened once. Could history repeat itself? The most revealing moment may have come after the match, not during it. During the trophy ceremony, Gauff stepped to the microphone and delivered one of the most emotional runner-up speeches of her season. Her voice sounded heavy, like someone trying very hard not to cry. But instead of dwelling on the frustration, she immediately congratulated Svitolina with warmth. She praised the Ukrainians' run and even joked that they should meet again in the French Open final. It got a smile from the crowd, but it also revealed where her mind already was. Rome was over. Paris had already started. Then came the line that really stood out. Gauff turned to her team and apologized. She said she was sorry she could not play better in some key moments. Think about that for a second. Most players would leave a Masters 1000 final disappointed. Sure, but still proud of making it that far. Gauff saw it differently. To her, losing in the final still felt like failing to meet the standard she expects from herself. That tells you everything about why she remains one of the most compelling young stars in tennis. The expectations are not just coming from fans or media. They are coming from inside her. And yet, there was optimism in her final words. She said she feels momentum heading into the French Open. She called the loss a lesson, not a collapse. That is an important distinction. Emotionally, this looked like one of her toughest defeats. Competitively, it may actually be the exact preparation she needed. She survived multiple 3-set battles in Rome. She came back from a set down several times. She played high-pressure clay matches against strong opponents. Those are the ingredients of a serious title defense campaign. Svitolina deserves huge credit too. Her run through Rome was extraordinary. She defeated top-level opponents including Elina Svitolina and Iga Swiatek before beating Gauff in the final. This was not a lucky draw or a surprise hot streak. She looked like a genuine championship contender, and her 20th career title could be the one that changes the women's draw in Paris completely. When she dedicated the victory to the people of Ukraine, it gave the night even more emotion. So where does this leave Coco Gauff? That is the big question. Some fans saw a player cracking under pressure. Others saw a champion who is one painful loss away from peaking at exactly the right moment. Both interpretations may be true. The tears, the racket smash, the self-anger, those are real concerns. But so is the fact that she reached another massive final while still searching for her best tennis. That is what makes the French Open so intriguing now. Is Gauff arriving in Paris shaken by another final defeat, or sharpened by it? Last year, heartbreak in Rome became triumph in Paris. The signs are there again, but tennis never repeats itself exactly. What happened in Rome may end up being remembered as the warning before a collapse, or the spark before another Grand Slam run. And after seeing that emotional night under the lights, one thing is certain. All eyes are now on Coco Gauff. Do you think this loss will motivate her to defend her French Open title? Or is the pressure finally starting to show? Let us know in the comments.